1 minute. Aha. Now let me say who is going to jump in first. So this is how to use stories to grow your business in 2025, and this is me telling my own story so that you understand how it's done, and because this is very important for the beginning of the business year, and I think we should hit the ground running. Assuming you're not already using this strategy, right? Welcome back to the live stream. If today is your first time joining, my name is Chisem Tibeaka. I'm streaming from Uyo in Nigeria, and this is my session, night business session with you. I started out this session last year in December 2nd, and every day, almost every day, I was here teaching. You should go back to watch most of my lives after now, and it just took off. And I'm like, okay, I think I want to do this the more. So I started doing it from the first as well. So this is why we're doing this. It's afforded me opportunity to share most of the topics I have written down as my videos I want to do, and also help me to pace myself. It's helping me develop myself to get to work, in that sense. And yeah, that we're doing this. And something why this topic is very dear to my heart is that it's something I've not done properly in the over 15 years I've been on social media, selling, influencing, blogging, all of that, doing business. So I thought this year, no, I have to start with a good story. And that is why I thought we should have this session, right? If you're a business executive, a CEO, a corporate head, whatever leadership position you are, this is your space. This is where you can thrive, especially if you own your own business and you run it. Okay, now storytelling is amazing. Like, it's something that is a tool that you can wield at any time, and you'll be shocked at the outcome. Because look at it, when you start out doing anything, and especially when you want to grow a business by yourself, that is by your personal brand, in that sense, people are buying from that business because of you, because they know you will discover that the only reason why they're going to connect to you is that they know a bit about you. If you were in the live stream yesterday, we talked about the smartest move CEOs should make, which is writing their books. And I said something at the beginning. I said, imagine walking to a room, it could be a country, which could be a place, and people already know you, and they're like, oh my God, that's her, that's him. He was the one that did XYZ, he's the one that built that, he's the one that, that. Do you understand? It gives you opportunity to network and make more impact without having to struggle. You don't have to open. You no longer need those pep talks, those icebreaker moments. You get straight in because you already are known, right? Now, this storytelling I'm talking about is slightly different in the sense that this is you telling the story for your business. Now, why this is important is that stories are the tool that connects people to people, because it connects with their emotions. It makes you memorable, it makes your brand memorable when they remember something, or how the brand started, or they remember the story of how you started and the struggles and your journey so far and how you got here. Something in human nature wants to support somebody that they feel that they know that is succeeding against all odds, which is always the case. So even if you come from a privileged background, you still have a story, right? I remember working with somebody who was in the uber rich class. She was very wealthy, and I thought before that time that people who were wealthy, like super wealthy that way, don't have challenges. But I was wrong, because until she told me that most of the times, because she runs a couple of businesses as well, most of the time she goes to get contracts. You know, she had a business that was focusing on on back to school outfits, uniforms, selling stuff that children need to go back to school, water bottles, books, all that. And then she'll usually go to schools, try to get a contract to make their outfits or to supply them, school supplies. And whenever the process is going on, because there are other people bidding, all of that. And it gets to her turn, and then they look at her, they look at her name, they're like, oh, you are so, 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 automatically they will withdraw it from her and like, almost like, oh my God, you shouldn't be here. Oh my God, it's a privilege to meet you. The conversation just changes to wanting to familiarize with her rather than give her the job. So even though she's saying, okay, so I came here because of the job, they're like, oh no, this contract is just a few millions. Why do you want it? You already have so much. And it's better we give it to somebody who is running a small business, like she's not running one. So that gave me an insight, because she even told me how she will sometimes have to hide her real name to be able to get contracts done, and how it's so difficult to get people to look away from your privileged background, or from your privileged background, or from you, who they think you are, to actually give you the job. So I said, oh, rich people also have problems. And I was saying that to say that challenges and successes and what you've gone through in your journey to building your business is one of the things that will captivate people and keep them coming back to your brands. Because it's not enough to quote figures, facts, of why you're doing what you're doing. People don't connect emotionally with facts and figures. People will like it as validity or validation and all that, but what will really connect them to you is that they know you, they like you, they can relate with you. They feel like I've been there, or I just left that stage where she was, or I am also in that journey. So they can really relate. Now, I have a 4-step framework I'm going to teach you tonight that you can use to share your story easily. Because I know that one of the challenges I had was, how am I going to tell the story? There are different shades of it. How should I put it? Should I use a video? Should I write it? Should I put it on Facebook or Instagram or all that? We're going to discuss all of that tonight. So what I want you to do now is to get a sheet of paper, not a sheet of paper, your journal. Get a journal where you're going to be writing the main things you're going to execute on this year. This is one of the first things you need to do, especially if you're building a personal brand, you're a content creator, you are a small business owner, you're a CEO of a small company, you're a startup, whatever. Or you are a business executive working with a large company, mid-level company that is also building a personal brand alongside. This is an exercise you do. And I just remembered something. I saw a post by Brian Tracy, and it talked about, I'm going to share that with you later. Remind me in the comment section. I'm going to share that with you much later. But let's get done with this story, and I will share that. It actually buttresses what this is about. Okay, like in this live stream, the way we do it is, if you come in, you let us know where you're watching from. You also drop any thoughts that comes to your mind, suggestions, questions, and we roll like that. And of course, I'll give you a shout out at the point you do that. Okay, now let's start with the 4 frameworks. 4-step framework, right? How did you tell your story in a way that people will receive it and begin to connect with you? Number 1, you have to start with your beginning. How did you come about where you are now? Whether it's business, whether it's your career position or status, how did you get here? People want to know, because there's this in Nigeria, people say, if you ask somebody, how did you succeed? And they say it's on God. Yes, it's on God. Everything is on God, right? But people want to know, yes, God is also with me, right? I'm on this journey of life, and there are a few things I'm doing, struggling to make sure that it works. So I want to know what you did as well, whether it's in line with what I'm doing, or it's in line with something I'm supposed to start doing that will help me. So people want to know practically results, like things that worked for you. Now, the number 1, I said, start from the beginning. You're going to share um, what inspired you. For instance, you could share what motivated you to start. It could be a challenge that you faced that made you to start, or just that moment that you decided, I'm going to build this business, or I'm going to start doing this, or I'm going to start that kit, or I'm going to set up that business page, or I'm going to start offering this service. People want to know exactly what made you start. So that's number 1. Like for me, I would say I started my first ever business, and of course the most enduring business, which is Power Editing channel, my book editing and proofreading business. I started it because my media job at the time was owing me 4 months salary. God, and I wanted to survive. Like I was like, I mean, how am I going to cope, right? So I started my business after. And I had, before that, I had people who were trying to support me to start a business, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't, you know, just understand how to go about it, or be allow. I didn't allow people to persuade me to do it. I was just too scared to try it. But months down the line, faced with a job that wasn't paying me, I couldn't survive. I couldn't feed. I was homeless. I had to start this business because it was something I was already doing. Right now, let's go to the second part. The second part of the framework says you have to, after stating your beginning, how you started, with the challenge you faced. For me, I was broke. I was working a job that wasn't paying me. The company was not making money, so they couldn't pay us salaries. And so many things were surrounding it, and I couldn't cope. I knew that I needed to do something extra if I was going to survive. The next thing is highlight the struggles you had. Now, on the beginning part, so for somebody, it might just be that, okay, I started my creative journey in a small apartment. Maybe that person is a graphic designer or an illustrator or a what they call an artist, right? So you could just say something like, I started my design journey or my creative journey in a small apartment with nothing but my sketch pad and my dream or my vision, right? Something like that will make a good beginning, right? Now, the next stage of the framework says start, or rather highlight your struggles. This is very important. This is very important. Every stage is very important. Now, by highlighting your struggles, you have to be very authentic. It's not a case study where you can, you have to be very authentic, because this is a part that makes you relate. People can relate to you, place, time, age, all that time where things happen to you and how you overcame it, right? And this is where you can build trust. People can trust you because they can see, right? For me, my struggle would be I was homeless and I was squatting with different various strangers who, of course, are turned friends now. I could barely feed. I was an adult, so I shouldn't be depending on people. And I knew that I needed to do something. Again, just months before that time, I had left home permanently, without my parents' actual what they call approval, because I grew up in a very protected, home, and I knew I needed to take care of myself. Again, I was already 29, so I wasn't a child. And so I felt, why not? You should be able to figure out how to help yourself. Before I started my business, I had already worked 3 jobs, 3 dead end jobs. And I was telling myself, what? I was in a new city, homeless, squatting with strangers, working different jobs that weren't adding up, and wondering if I made the best choice to have moved so far away from home. So these were some of the challenges I faced. For another person, maybe for that artist I also quoted, yours could be that you struggled with balancing art as your passion and art as your business, because that's also a real thing, right? And then you can highlight the part where you almost wanted to give up and maybe choose another stuff, So those in details of that will make with your struggles. And as I'm saying this, and I need you to note them down and begin to craft your beginning and highlight your struggles, you'll see how your story will come out amazing. Amazing. Now, the third part of the framework, you now have to show your solution. You show how you started, you show the struggles you had. Now, what is the solution that your business is bringing, right? What is the solution that somebody can benefit, right? So you have to explain how you finally overcame how you started and your struggles by sharing your solution. I'm trying to think of mine, even though I had mine written down, of course, one of the things I'm going to share. I haven't shared anything on social media that related to business this year. This is second, but I'm going to post it tomorrow, and I already had it written down. But I wanted to make this video before that time. So, what are the challenges that led to you providing the solutions you provide with your product, your services, your brand, your leadership, whatever it is? Now, I believed in myself and I counted my blessings because I felt I had the support of strangers, and that was God coming through for me, right? In a new city, far away from home. So I began word of mouth marketing. Hey God, these guys. Guys, this thing works like magic. See, you have to open your mouth and tell people, actually, this is what I do. Open your mouth and tell people on the street. Of course, that means you have to be friendly, you have to be relatable, you have to be courteous, you have to be smart as well, you have to be security conscious as well. All of that comes in place, and you have to. I use word of mouth marketing, and that landed me my first proofreading job that paid me 21,000 naira. I still remember it like yesterday. That money felt like 21 million. You don't even want to play. This was 2009. Because that was the first ever time I was ever getting paid for doing something that was me, something that was my business, not just a job, right? I then started landing international deals months later, and one of my international clients from the UK paid me and also gifted me two luxury shoes that made me know that I was up to something, that this thing I'm doing, I shouldn't ignore it. And the thing is that I did full option, we provided full option of services for her book. And that was what gave me that initial confidence that, oh, you shouldn't back down on this. But see, you think it's as easy as that. I'm telling my story and mixing it up with explanations as well. I also did not go ahead to market the full option services that got me that accolade. I was still offering the small services, proofreading and editing for 14 whole years. 14 whole years. So I did publishing, sparingly because I wasn't talking about it, but I did most times book proofreading and editing with my team and all that. And it worked well enough. Now again, that is the number four, the number three. Show your solution. Now that is what I provided. And for that artist guy, lady or guy, yours might just be that after months of trial and error, trying to think of whether to sell your art or not, you developed a system that helped you create art fast and efficiently, so they can connect your clients who love your work, to what you do. Either do it and do an exhibition, or market it to a publisher to make books with them. Whatever it is, that was the solution. You put it out there. Okay, so that's very instrumental. I i showed my solution by saying I finally found a way to monetize this thing that I needed to do, and it landed me a lot of, it made people believe in my brand. Now, the fourth part of this storytelling is you have to end your story with your success, and that has to be relatable. End with your success story. Now, remember, you're still in process, so it's not like in progress. It's not like you have gotten to this pinnacle or the end of your success. But at what point have you now become? Um, will you say you have what they call it now? Like, you have got to what has your brand become? So what is your success now? More like your achievements, and you now help people to solve similar problems. So for me, that had to from home, dealing with lack and brokenness, and having to use word of marketing. Finally, I landed my first international client through my blog. I should have mentioned that, through my blog. And then that made me to start thinking, okay, so then I have something here to market. I started providing my services across board, internationally, locally. And today, navigating that business with two jobs at that time in my earlier years was tough. I battled with hiring teams. I remember people coming, resuming in my office where I was paid salary because I was the head of operations. They would resume, take instructions to go, and connecting with channel partners, illustrators, printing presses. I had to get all that into my team, and setting the right prices was another Herculean task. But after all that, years later, I have built a business, left my 9 to 5 job. I did how many years now? 7 years now. Left my 9 to 5 job and have built a business that pays me and other people 100%. And I've been able to build it into a full option premium content publishing company that earns in millions. I mean, even if we have just one or two clients in a year, we're still gonna earn in millions. I'm grateful for that. And again, what is so important, working remotely and working flexible locations. That was something I made up my mind about in 2017. And having it materialized now in my life while we're still making progress is a win for me. I also now show people how to thrive in this kind of creative and intense industry. um, editing, proofreading, publishing, providing services that clients were proud of. In a twist of fate, my business just pivoted. That Logos Audibles just pivoted to helping busy professionals to tell their actual story. So this whole topic is also part of what I package or what I sell as my brand. Okay, helping people tell their stories, especially people who are busy and all that. Whose stories, if care is not taken, may never see the may never be told, and they have done so much. Those are the people that we cater to. And see, so you see that story, you already have known me a bit, you already feel like, yeah, Now, for that artist, I'm also using as a case study. You can say, today I run a thriving art business, and I teach other creatives how to do the same. Thank you, Active Tibaka. Thank you. Good evening, too. And I remember Tibake also says, I design and build houses and teach other people to do the same. That captures the story in a brief. So you must be able to capture your story in that manner, the way I have just told mine. And where do you post this story? Choose a platform where your ideal client will be. Remember, this story you're telling is to attract your tribe, your client, the people who will pay you, who need your services. So you have to choose the platform that works best for you on social media. Number one, the first place is to choose the social media platform. Share a little bit of your relatable visuals and all that. Also, you can use this your story to now explain why you're the best solution for your audience. Do you understand? So now, because of what you've gone through, it might be because for me, because I've gone through all of this. Okay, okay, a bit of glitches there. Sorry. We're back now. All right. So I was saying that you should share your. Okay, okay, okay. We're back. Okay. Thank you for staying on. A bit of glitches there. I've fixed it. Okay. Now I was saying something about you have to share this snippets of this with your story, with your picture, with elements of your business. On social media. Choose a platform that works for you. If it's LinkedIn, if it's YouTube. All right. Now also use your story to make pitches by positioning your brand, yourself, or your business as the best solution for your target audience because of what you've been through, how you started, what you now understand, what your resilience have birthed, and what different from your competitors. You can stand out. You can stand out. For me, in Logos Audibles, I say it all the time, and our clients kind of understand us as well. We are blessed with those kind of clients who really understand. We haven't gotten there yet, but see, when it comes to quality with your thoughts, when it comes to publishing, your printing, all of the services that we do are on point. Now, we may not be able to, and in the past, we may not be able to maybe meet up with timeline. So if we say like 2 months, it may drag into 2 months or 1 week and that kind of thing. And we will always communicate if you're having issues. We had to battle with timeline, turnaround time, effective turnaround times for works. But now we've established all of those things. And so we know our names, that you can't get into our business and then get substandard services. I mean, we've been through all that route and we can do better, right? Also, your story should be used so you should position your story to make sure that it answers the question that your clients will have on top of their mind, like, oh, how long have you been doing this? Who and who have you worked with? That are you sure I can trust you? You should have those people already, because now 15 years in business, we have all of that sorted. We have people we have worked with. You can call them, you can verify all that in place. Another place you need to use your story is on your website. Now, many people write websites and the about section of their website is so dry. That's where you need the story. That is where you need the story. The about me or about us part of your website has the story. It has to have it, because that is the first place people will go, and that is where you want to hook them. You want them to trust you. You want them to feel like, oh, this is the person or this is the company I need to work with. Very, very, very important. Now is your time to write your own story. Take the next 10, 15 minutes, write your story. Um, now, I think that you should make it like um, 3 paragraphs. It doesn't have to be long at all. How did you start? What were the challenges you faced? What is the solution that came out of these challenges and how you started? Then where are you now? You know, what is the achievement? What is the why should somebody buy you or buy your products or work with you as a content creator? Very, 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 very important. I'm yet to tell my story of how I started YouTube as well. I'm going to do that also. Okay. Now, it's time to now, when you're done with writing, of course, it's time to share your story. And another thing you must make sure that you do when you're telling your story is to use pictures that connect to that story. So you might need to dig up some pictures from the past or, you know, however, but make sure that your pictures match your story so that people can really relate. Oh my God, really? Like I have pictures of the shoes a client gave me, my first international client sent to me from UK, all the way from UK to Abuja at that time where I was living. Those kind of things can make people feel like, oh, really? You can also write your post on social media and tag the people who were in your life at that time, who supported. So people know that they are actually real people, living people they can actually inbox and connect with. This is very important also. Now, while you're also getting your story published and all that, remember that you need to engage with your clients, or sorry, your followers. You can't post a story on social media and you're not coming to reply to messages, you're not connecting, you're not asking them questions, you're not, encouraging them to even share the story more or share theirs. There just have to be an engagement to make that story go, even reach more people. Now, also, I must give a caveat. When you're telling your story, please don't fake anything. Don't use any fake dates, fake people, fake event incidents just because you want it to be as authentic as possible, because people listening to you can tell. Mm. They can tell when you're not being real, because we are human spirits. We are not just human beings. We are human spirits, and we are very perceptive people. You should tell your story from a place of authenticity, without polishing anything. See, it's as powerful as it can be. Don't polish it. It's powerful the way it is. Also, make sure that you add some touch of emotion. Focus on how you felt throughout all those stages, like in the beginning, when you were struggling, when you were fine-tuning your products and bringing out your solution, the way you felt and what was going on in your mind, or what you were thinking or what you were not thinking, make those part of your story. That way is emotional and can connect for real, which is why you shouldn't paint anything, right? Now, also make sure that when you're sharing your story, you're not writing verbose, you're not writing jargons and all that. Keep it simple, language simple. Write it like you're talking to a friend, you're gisting a friend. That's the way you should write your story. Even if it's for your website, yes, write it that way. Next thing you need to keep in mind is that, please, make sure your story ends with a question. My 7-year-old daughter is a mini content creator, and she's doing fantastic at it, photography, advertising, and all that. And she even understands at this stage, because I taught her that you don't say something on social media and you don't call to action. You must ask a question at the end. Now, today, she did a video. She started with a question and ended with a question, right? I was so impressed with her. So, as simple as that. Make sure that you end your story with a call to action, something you want them to do, a question you're asking them to respond to, or a link you want them to click, or something you want them to type in the comment section, or something you want them to share. Just make sure that there's an action you want them to perform at the end of reading your story. Please make sure you include it as a last sentence in your story. These are guides that will help you write an authentic, simple story that will sell loud to your brand. As simple as it sounds, not everybody understands how to go about it, and that's why I thought we should talk about it tonight. Now, write a story using this 4-step framework I told you. Which platform do you want to share it on? Please let me know which is your favorite platform that you think you want to position this year to get your ideal clients. Let me know in the comment section where you want to post it. Also, let me know so that I can follow you, your handle, your which platform and what's your handle, so I can go right ahead and follow you. Let's connect, let's connect, let's connect. Also, when you write your story, remember to tag people that you want to see them, or people you want to people that inspire you, so they can come read your story. Also, make sure that you can also inspire people to write their own stories as well after they read yours. Yeah. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about something very, very important. I'm not going to bring the cat out of what am I saying? I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. I need you to be here with me, 10 p.m. Nigerian time. Please sort out what that time is in your own country and let's connect. I want to also make sure that you can let me know your story. You can actually write it here or send me an email via the email that is going to be in the description box and on the first comment of this video. Send me also an email and I'm going to help you also fine tune your story if you need help with it. And let's keep making big moves this year early. The idea is to hit your goals early in the first quarter. Are you with me on that? Yes. So let's do this tomorrow. Kai, thank you so much for staying until this time. I appreciate your time and I hope to talk to you again tomorrow. All right. Bye.